So if you think something, say it. Because it means it's in accord with what is being discussed. Okay. Now, the reason why it is racist is because there is no representations of blacks in there. None. So we know that even in 1996, let's say we were, I don't know, 1/6 or 60th of the population, whatever the percentage is, I don't know. There should be some kind of black representation in there, but there isn't, okay? So, this is what was in the Sun. It's racist, it's sexist, it's classist, and that's one of the things what I usually bring in my discussions. This is an inherently racist, classist, and sexist society. Then we can have a, what's that? That sounds like me. It ain't me, is it? Hope not. Anyway, right. So, this is an inherently racist, classist, and sexist society. Then we can have our conversation. Okay, right. The crucial thing about this is not only is it racist, it's actually illogical. And I'll tell you why. If you lower the standards for everyone. Because black children don't have bespoke exams. They sit exactly the same exam, supposedly, according to the national curriculum, yes or no? So if you lower the standards, then it should be easier for the smarter kids. So how would that make a difference? So to me, not only was it racist, it was reactionary, and it was provocative. Because in a lot of white people's psyche, black people are monkeys. We're near to monkeys. We're a bit like Planet of the Apes, which actually is in reverse, because I don't know if you know the original Planet of the Apes. The monkeys are white people, and the white people are black people. I'll explain it to you one day. Get myself and brother Hakeem in, and we will do a breakdown on that and other things. You watch it carefully. The first one, I ain't talking about the new iterations, but the first one, absolutely. And I can prove that. But check this. This is why this is significant. This article came out in 1996 when it was reported that African Caribbean students achieved higher grades than the national average in their A-levels. So is it coincidental or is it racist? You get the figures released and then you get this cartoon. Now, the reason why I'm talking about the monkeys in the psyche, how long have I got? 5 minutes? Good. I'll do it in 4. Now, the reason why I say, and if I had more time, I would really get into, aspects of what I believe, sociologically, anthropologically, whatever. But I believe that like now, especially in this febrile atmosphere that we've got over Brexit, all this uncertainty, etc., it is not coincidental that black people are being likened to monkeys again, in football, in blah, 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 in whatever. I was invited to go on some of these programs, and I've just refused a lot. I just can't be asked anymore, seriously. But the point is, there is a crisis in this country around white identity and white fragility, which is why last week Jon Snow, ironic name, if there ever was one, had to apologize for calling white people white people. But why? Do you know why? You see, because I did a talk last week for Pan Africa UK, and I broke it down. Because let me show you how it works. White people are never asked to speak on behalf of their whole group, ever. So the madman who killed all those people in New Zealand the other day, what are they saying? Oh, he must be suffering from mental ill health, because white people aren't supposed to do that. If that was a black person, it would be, oh, they're all like that. There would never be a mention that he suffers from any form of mental ill health. If he was an Asian brother, terrorist, blah, 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 okay? There is a crisis amongst white identities and white identification because the empire's crumbled. When I was young, what made Britain great was the empire. They still had the remnants of the colonial era. Jamaica wasn't independent then. Ghana was independent when I was born, I believe it was. But the point is, they had something to register white superiority against. They had it. We rule the empire. We're the most intelligent. We're this, I look at you lot, thick as 2 planks. You come from the Caribbean. When I went to school, anyone who had an accent, didn't matter what kind of accent, as long as you was black or Asian, into the lowest class. They didn't care what qualifications you had. And you speak to some of the brothers and sisters of the so-called Windrush generation, they will tell you. They will come from places more qualified than the people I went to school with. They went straight into the lowest classes. So that was one aspect. The other one is, we were always called monkeys. I remember watching Moonshot Youth Club play, not Millwall, Moonshot Youth Club played, I think it was, Maidstone or some team somewhere out in Kent, I don't remember, in the 70s. And it kicked off between us and the white dudes. The supporters, it was like, go on, you can beat the monkeys. That's all they were calling us, yeah? This collapsing of us into monkeys. Because it's very difficult now for white people of that mindset, supremacist thought and action, or racist, to say, well, you lot are too thick. Well, excuse me, you just saw Professor blah, blah, blah on the TV. Or you lot are this, or you lot are that. There are too many representations out there. There's too many. It's too visible. So although they try to suppress what we achieve, it's too visible. Hence, look at this. This is from Saturday. Football. Watford beat Wolves. Troy Deeney scored the equaliser. Within moments of the match ending, this is what somebody did on, what's that, Wikipedia, which is why I always say to my students, use Wikipedia, I feel you. Because anybody can use that. But look at what they've got. So before it said, Troy Matthew Deeney, an English professional footballer. Now it says, Troy Matthew Deeney, an English professional monkey. This is Saturday. He got so much abuse, he had to take off his Instagram. He's married to a white woman. How much more accommodating should he be? I say that in all seriousness. I don't really care if people want to get upset. Jesus Christ, man, he's playing the game, whatever the game is. Love, who cares? But at the end of the day, he still gets it. If you want another example, look at some of the images. Look it up on your favorite spy engine. Look up the images of Lewis Hamilton when he goes to Madrid. When he goes to Madrid, they always have people in blackface. Oh, Hamilton family. But there's never any white ones in there. And he's half white. So what is that saying about the psychology of these people? This is why I remember years ago I had a conversation with a very, very famous white reggae DJ. Yeah? I won't call any names. We were just discussing, and he said something interesting to me like, my wife's black, I'm white, my children are brown. I went, not in England, sunshine. Because brown identity does not exist. In Jamaica, you can be brown or red or yellow. But in England, there is no such thing as brown. And if you want to test it, go to the EDF or whoever these damn people are with your brown self and say to them, do I fit in? And make sure you have on some good track shoes for runway. So I'm going to close very quickly. Years ago, I was at a round table at the now defunct New Nation newspaper. We were discussing education. And there was a politician there who gets a lot of flack, who spent all the time on her phone. I won't say who she is. Sounds like something to do with a church, though. Or is it a monastery or something? I don't know. Yeah. But I won't say it was. But we were discussing education, okay? Because Mike Aboda, a wonderful guy who used to be the editor of New Nation, he invited me to this round table. So one of the things that was attributed to me in the article was the brightest black kids get excluded for, the brightest black kids get excluded. Why is the education system failing our children? So I actually wrote a letter in because that's not what I said. What I said is, why is it that when I work with these recalcitrant, disruptive, black children, some of them are so bright, they should not be in my sessions. I would have been one of them. If there were pupil referral units when I was younger, I would have gone to one. Because my school was nothing, my relationship with school was nothing to do with my educability, because I love learning. It was a hostile, literally, environment. So one of the things what I said to them is, I work with these children who are on the cusp of exclusion, and I noticed one major difference between them and the white children. You know what that major difference was? The white children don't turn up. They don't turn up. If they get excluded, them go about their business. They do not. Who's a school teacher? Am I lying? They don't turn up. the black children turn up, which means to me they want to be in there. But you are not welcoming them in there because you are not feeding them the right food. And I pointed this out to these teachers. And I pointed it out in that article. So, in sum, and I'm going to close with this, Bernard Cord, how the West Indian child is made educationally subnormal in the British school system. Remember, that came out of the supplementary school movements, yeah? Came out as a pamphlet. Then it was republished in 2005, Tell It Like It Is, how our schools fail black children. The crucial thing is the process of making. It doesn't say they are, it says how they are made. So straight away, if you spoke with a Jamaican accent or a St. Lucian accent or a Ghanaian accent or a so-called Nigerian accent, straight into the lowest class. Now, how are you going to feel in the lowest class when you know you're too clever to be in there? You're probably cleverer than the damn teachers. How are you going to feel? Think about it. Is not the logical sequence disruption, disruptive behavior? Then you get branded, labeled, finished. That's how it is. So when they talk about these pipelines into this and that and all that kind of blah, blah, we need a different conversation. So black history and culture, i.e. the history of black people throughout the Caribbean, the Americas, Africa, and Asia, should be made a part of the curriculum of all schools for the benefit of the black and white children. Indeed, its exclusion from most school curricula constitutes nothing short of criminal negligence or prejudice in the educational sphere. Cord said this in the 70s. He said this in the 70s, okay? I did have a clip of me I was going to show, but I want to finish with this, yeah? Oh, no, I'm not going to finish with, but you notice Colin does the foreword for my book. I'm in a PM yet, so don't remind him, yeah? But Malik can have these. I can send him these slides. It's not a problem, yeah? But I want to finish with quotes from 3 people that I really admire. And sorry, they are men, yeah? But I did this a long time ago. I'll make me start quote, anyway. Now, W.B. Du Bois, it is worse than stupid to allow people's education to be under the control of those who seek not the progress of the people, but their use as a means of making themselves rich and powerful, okay? His Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie. Throughout history, it has been the inaction of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should have known better, the silence of the voice of justice when it mattered most, that has made it possible for evil to triumph. Okay? That's what His Majesty said. And closing with Marcus Mosiah Garvey, we are going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery because while others may free the body, none but ourselves can free the mind. So it's not Bob Marley, it was Marcus Garvey. Yeah? Just like the war thing, I had to explain to some people the other day, the war speech is from His Majesty's address to the UN in 1968. Bob Marley turned it into a song. Okay, right. But listen to this. Mind is your only ruler, sovereign. The man who is not able to develop and use his mind is bound to be the slave of the other man who uses his mind. And to me, I want to close there because at the end of the day, what I loved about today is that these young people, I said it to this group at University of Kent, they are the generation to liberate, you know, because they live and see different things. So it doesn't matter if their parents say all white people are the devil or all niggers are coons. It doesn't matter. They see a different experience. They live a different reality. I think it is our role as those who have maybe further down the road of that journey to support them and give them that space, not only to nurture them, but to make them proactive. Because as Malcolm X said, revolutions are without compromise. That's what a revolution is. Revolution, you turn it over. You don't just flip it and flip it back, okay? Anyway, thank you for your time, and thank you.